Kalen Ward had never planned to make history. He only wanted a calm life on Horizon's Reach, the great star station floating at the edge of human space. The station was peaceful, bright, and always full of strange species from across the galaxy. It was the kind of place where someone could live for years and never run out of new things to see. But Kalen did not join for excitement. He joined because he liked tools, machines, and keeping things working. He was a station engineer, nothing more, nothing less. Most days, Kalen worked in the mechanical bay, replacing power cells or repairing damaged gravity plates. It was quiet work, but he enjoyed it. What he enjoyed more, however, was the company of Jyra. Jyra was an Adulthfystory warrior diplomat. Her skin looked like smooth crystal with faint glowing veins under the surface. Her eyes reflected light, like polished gems. She was tall, calm, and surprisingly gentle for someone trained as a fighter. When she walked, her steps made soft chimes, like glass touched by a breeze. Many people on the station found her intimidating, but not Kalen. He found her interesting and strangely comforting. Even after years of friendship, he still did not fully understand her species. The Adulthfystory communicated partly through speech and partly through emotional sensing. They could not read thoughts, but they could feel emotional waves, a mix of warmth, fear, stress, humor, like faint colors around someone. Maybe that was why Jyra spent so much time around Kalen. Humans, she once told him, felt bright and warm. He wasn't sure what that meant, but she made it sound like a compliment. One ordinary evening, Kalen sat with a group of human engineers in the station's common dining area. The room was wide and shaped like a half circle, with large windows showing a view of deep space. Blue lights glowed softly along the floor, and the smell of warm food drifted from the distribution counters. The engineers were laughing loudly over something Kalen was not even sure what the joke was about. They were teasing him again for being single. It was a friendly kind of teasing, but it still made him rub the back of his neck awkwardly. "Come on, Kalen," joked Mara, one of his closest co-workers. "You're surrounded by aliens, diplomats, travelers, some of them even look humanish. You expect us to believe you never get lonely?" Kalen laughed it away. "I'm retired," he said. "From romance, I mean. 28 years old and retired," another engineer snorted. "Pathetic." "I'm not pathetic," Kalen replied, trying to defend himself. "I'm peaceful." The table burst into laughter again. And then Mara said, "What about Jyra? You two are always together. You fix machines. She breaks machines. It's destiny." Kalen raised both hands. "Jyra? No. She's just a good friend." "Oh?" Mara leaned in with a grin. "If she proposed to you right now like some weird alien marriage thing, would you say yes?" Kalen rolled his eyes and played along with the joke. He stood up dramatically, put one hand over his heart, and declared, "I'd say yes, if she proposed." The group howled with laughter. Kalen sat back down, smiling. He didn't think much of it. Humans joked like this all the time. It was normal. But when he looked to the side, he froze. Jyra was standing behind him. He hadn't heard her approach. She was holding a small data tablet and staring at him with calm, unreadable crystal eyes. He had no idea how long she had been there, but he knew she had heard the joke. The laughter at the table slowly died down. The humans quietly excused themselves and left the room, leaving only Kalen and Jyra behind. For a moment, Kalen wished someone would come back to save him. Jyra stepped closer, her crystal-light footsteps soft but steady. "Kalen," she said, her voice calm but carrying an unusual weight. "You would say yes?" He felt his ears burn. "Jyra, I didn't mean it like that. It was just a joke." Her glowing eyes narrowed slightly, not in anger, but confusion. "A joke," she repeated softly. "Humans speak lightly, but your words sounded sincere." Kalen shook his head quickly. "It wasn't serious. It was just something people say when friends tease them." Jyra lowered her head slightly. To anyone else, the gesture might seem small, but Kalen knew Adulthfystory body language well. This was a sign of disappointment, maybe even hurt. "Oh no, Jyra, I didn't mean to upset you," he said gently. "You did not upset me," she replied. though her dimmer glow suggested otherwise. But your words have meaning. To my people. Meaning? Callan blinked. What kind of meaning? Jyra hesitated. A rare thing for her. Among the Aelthari, a proposal is sacred. Not a promise for the future, but a declaration of unity. If one person speaks it, and the other accepts, even unknowingly, a bond is formed. Kalen's stomach dropped. Wait, so you think I proposed? You said. Her voice softened to nearly a whisper. I would say yes if she proposed. And you spoke clearly. You directed the statement toward me. I wasn't directing it toward Jyra. Humans joke all the time. We say things lightly. It doesn't mean anything official. Her voice grew quieter, more serious. But to me, your words matter. You know I do not lie. You know I do not play games. Aelthari do not use proposals as humor. She paused. We do not use affection as humor. Kalen felt guilt strike him harder than expected. He hadn't meant to hurt her. He had never seen Jyra look so fragile. Jyra, he said softly. I didn't know your customs. I didn't understand. I'm sorry. She looked up again, meeting his eyes. Her expression was unreadable, but her glowing veins pulsed faintly, something that usually happened when she was holding strong emotion back. Come with me, she said quietly. Please. She led him out of the dining hall, down a quiet corridor lit by soft white lights. They entered a smaller observation room with a clear view of the nearby nebula. The swirling blue and purple gas clouds reflected faintly off Jyra's crystal skin. Here, she finally stopped and faced him. For many cycles, she said, I have felt something toward you. A calmness. A light. A connection. She placed a hand gently on her chest. I have never felt it before with a human. Kalen swallowed. Jyra, I care about you. A lot. You're my closest friend here. But what everyone said back there, it was only teasing. I know, she answered softly. But when I heard your voice, something inside me reacted. There is a part of our minds that responds to sincerity, even hidden sincerity. If we sense real intention, it is like a door being unlocked. Unlocked? Kalen repeated nervously. Jyra, what exactly unlocked? She stepped closer. Her glow brightened, not dangerously, but intensely. Then she whispered very softly, very clearly. Then say yes. Kalen felt the air leave his lungs. Jyra, you do not need to accept, she said. But know this. If you say yes now, in this moment, my people will see it as a true bond. A real one. Not a joke. Kalen rubbed his forehead. This is a lot. You really think my stupid joke meant something deep? You are human, she replied. Your people create meaning even when you do not intend to. You are emotional, unpredictable, brave. I admire that. Her light dimmed slightly. But if you choose to walk away now, my clan will think I have been rejected. It will bring shame. Oh no. Oh no. Callan realized something terrifying. His careless joke had just triggered a cultural crisis. Jyra stood still, waiting, her voice barely a whisper now. Kalen Ward, if the words you spoke were truth, then say yes. And Kalen understood one more thing. His next words might change everything, not only for him and Jyra, but for the entire station. Kalen did not sleep that night. He lay awake in his small cabin, staring at the dim ceiling lights and thinking about Jyra's whisper. Then say yes. Those 3 words kept echoing in his mind. He turned side to side, trying to calm himself, but his thoughts kept running in circles. He had always known that alien cultures were different, but he had never imagined that one simple joke could start something so serious. He liked Jyra more than he liked most people, but marriage-level commitment? A cross-species bond? A diplomatic tie with unknown consequences? That was something else entirely. By the time the station lights slowly brightened to signal morning, Kalen still had not found an answer. When he finally left his room, he walked through the main corridor, where crews of different species were already starting their day. Some were human. Some had scales. Some looked insect-like. Others had floating orbs instead of heads. Horizon's Reach was always busy, always alive. But today, as Kalen walked, he felt eyes on him. People were whispering. A pair of human technicians gave him a strange look. A tall, blue-skinned diplomat paused and stared before hurrying away. Even a small group of Gelra traders, usually cheerful, fell silent when Kalen passed. Something was wrong. He hurried toward the mechanical bay, hoping his job would distract him. It didn't. Mara was waiting for him at the door. "Kalen, we need to talk," she said softly. He winced. "Please tell me this isn't about last night." "Oh, it is absolutely about last night," Mara replied. She pulled him into the bay, shut the door, and looked him straight in the eyes. "Kalen, did you actually propose to Jaira?" "What? No," he said quickly. "It was a joke." Mara rubbed her forehead. "Well, the station council doesn't think it was a joke." Kalen froze. "The council?" "Jaira reported it formally," Mara explained. "To her people first, and then the command council here. Apparently, a human declaring willingness to accept an Aelthari proposal is a major cultural event." Kalen felt his stomach twist. "She reported it? Why would she do that?" "Because," Mara said gently, "she believed you meant it." Kalen stood there stunned for several seconds. Jaira wasn't someone who lied or exaggerated. She took everything with calm, serious care. She must have truly believed that Kalen's joke was a real expression of intention. He felt a wave of guilt wash over him. "Okay," he whispered. "Okay. What do I do?" Mara sighed. "Right now, you need to see the commander." "And Jaira." He nodded and left the bay immediately. The station commander, Captain Rena Lorne, was waiting inside the central meeting room. She was a stern woman with sharp eyes, known for keeping the station running smoothly, even during political storms. Standing beside her was Minister Velran, the Aelthari ambassador, tall, glowing, and formal as always. Jaira stood at the side, hands folded, posture straight. Kalen felt his heart pound. Captain Lorne spoke first. "Kalen Ward, I understand there is a matter of cultural confusion that requires clarification." He swallowed hard. "Yes, ma'am. I think there is." Minister Velran inclined his head. "You spoke words of acceptance toward my junior diplomat. In our culture, such words form a binding intention. We have already informed our clan elders." Kalen almost fainted. Jaira looked up at him quietly, her crystal eyes glowing faintly. She wasn't angry. She wasn't upset. She only seemed hopeful. Captain Lorne steepled her fingers. "Mr. Ward, this station cannot afford diplomatic misunderstandings. You need to tell us clearly. Were your words yesterday meant as a binding acceptance of an Aelthari proposal?" Kalen opened his mouth, nothing came out. Jaira took a step forward. "Kalen," she said softly, "speak truthfully." He looked at her, and in that moment, he felt the weight of everything, the friendship they shared, the trust between them, the innocence behind her belief, and the massive political wave already forming because of a careless joke. Finally, he answered, "No, I didn't know what your customs were. I didn't know my words would mean something serious." Jaira's glow dimmed slightly, only slightly, but enough for Kalen to feel guilt twist inside him again. Minister Velran nodded. "Then, by our customs, the bond cannot be honored. But there is still a matter of honor to resolve. Aelthari tradition requires truth of intention to be proven when a proposal is spoken." Captain Lorne sighed. "Kalen, you've been requested to take part in something called the Trial of Intent." Kalen stared. "The what?" Jaira stepped forward again. "It is not a punishment. It is a test of sincerity. It allows both people to show their true hearts. If you complete the trial and declare your intentions openly, my clan will accept your words, whether they are acceptance or rejection, without shame." Kalen blinked rapidly. "And if I refuse to take the trial?" Minister Velran answered bluntly. "It will be seen as an insult, not only to Jaira, but to the Aelthari people." "Oh," Callan whispered. Good. Jaira's voice softened. It is not dangerous, Callan. But it is important. Very important. Callan looked between the commander, the ambassador, and Jaira. He wished someone would wake him up and tell him this was all a dream. But it wasn't. He closed his eyes for a moment, breathed deeply, and said quietly, All right, I'll take the trial. Jaira's glow brightened, not dramatically, just a soft warmth. She looked relieved. Later that afternoon, the station buzzed with new rumors. Word spread quickly that a human engineer had accidentally triggered an Aelthari proposal ritual. Some aliens found it amusing, others shocking, and a few extremely concerning. The Aelthari were known for taking their traditions seriously. If Callan failed the trial, the consequences might spill into politics. Callan tried to ignore the whispers as he walked the station halls, but it wasn't easy. Everywhere he went, someone stared. A pair of human soldiers whispered, Is that him? The one who proposed to the crystal girl? Two alien merchants murmured in their clicking language, glancing at him with big eyes. Even a robotic assistant turned its head and beeped curiously. Callan sighed. His life, which had been normal and quiet 2 days ago, now felt like the center of a swirling storm. Jaira found him in the observation lounge later that evening. The large windows showed a peaceful view of distant stars. Callan was sitting alone, elbows on his knees, staring into the void. She approached quietly and sat across from him. Callan, she said gently, you are troubled. He let out a breath. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. You know that, right? I know, Jaira replied. But intention does not erase meaning. Your words reached me. I believed them. That belief created action. Callan looked at her, really looked at her. Her crystal skin reflected the starlight softly. Her expression was calm, but he sensed something fragile beneath the surface. Jaira, he said softly, why did you take my words so seriously? She tilted her head slightly. Because humans do not speak lightly when their emotions rise. And your emotions were warm, bright. You were laughing, but beneath it, I sensed sincerity. Callan blinked. Sincerity? In me? Yes. She placed a hand gently over her chest. You care for others with quiet strength. I admire that. Many of my people admire that in humans. He looked away, feeling heat rise in his face. She leaned a little closer. I do not ask you to choose me, Callan. I only ask you to face the trial with honesty. Whatever your truth is, I will accept it. Callan nodded slowly. Jaira, after the trial, when everything is clear, what happens then? She gave a small, calm smile. Then you speak your answer. A real one. Not a joke. Callan swallowed. And if my answer is no? Then I remain your friend, she said softly. And no shame will fall on my clan. And if my answer is yes? Jaira looked away for the first time, her glow softening into something warm and gentle. Then, she said quietly, our futures will be tied together, and the galaxy will change. Callan felt his heart pound, fear, confusion, and something he didn't want to name yet. He nodded. Okay, I'll face the trial. Jaira stood and offered her hand. For truth, she said. Callan took her hand. For truth. Together, they walked into a future neither of them fully understood. Callan stood in the docking bay, staring at the Aelthari ceremonial ship. It looked like a giant shard of crystal, shaped smoothly like a teardrop. Soft light pulsed along its surface, as if the ship itself was breathing. Today was the day. The trial of intent. He swallowed hard. Until now, he had only heard Jaira describe it in gentle, calming words. But watching the ship glow in the dim hangar made the whole thing feel much more real and much more terrifying. Jaira stood beside him, calm as always. She wore ceremonial armor, smooth and shining like polished glass. Instead of a weapon, she carried a crystal staff, the symbol of honesty in her culture. Callan, she said softly, you are nervous. Nervous? He squeaked. I'm terrified. She tilted her head. There is no danger. That's what people say right before something dangerous happens, he muttered. Jaira's faint glow shifted into a warm color that meant amusement. I will be with you the entire time. Somehow that both helps and makes me even more nervous. Kalen answered. But despite his fear, he followed her into the ship. Inside, the vessel was bright and silent. The walls were translucent, filled with slow waves of light. It felt less like stepping into a machine, and more like stepping into a living organism. At the center stood 3 Adulthfystory elders, each glowing more brightly than Jaira. Their presence filled the room with a quiet power. Kalen bowed awkwardly, unsure of the correct greeting. You may rise, Kalen Ward, said the first elder, her voice soft but commanding. We begin the trial of intent. Kalen stood and tried to look brave. He failed. The second elder stepped forward. There are 3 tasks. Each task reveals your true intentions. If you succeed, your truth, whatever it may be, will be honored. Jaira placed a gentle hand on his arm. You do not need to fear. The tasks are not tests of strength, but of the heart. The heart? Kalen repeated. Great. I left mine back in the cafeteria. Jaira's glow brightened again with amusement. The third elder raised a crystalline hand. Let the first task begin. The floor lit up beneath Kalen's feet, and suddenly the world dissolved into shimmering white light. Task 1, Courage of the Unprepared. Kalen blinked as the light faded. He found himself standing on a wide circular platform floating in empty space. Stars glowed all around him. The platform itself was made of smooth crystal, glowing faintly under his boots. Jaira appeared beside him, though she looked slightly different, translucent, like a guiding spirit. This is a memory field, she said. It shows your fears. You must face them. My fears? Kalen asked. You mean like spiders? Heights? Public speaking? Jaira shook her head. Not simple fears. Deep fears. Fears that live inside the heart. That's worse, Kalen muttered. A shape appeared at the edge of the platform. Then another. Then a third. Soon the entire circle was surrounded by ghostly images of people Kalen recognized, humans from Horizon's reach. His co-workers, his commander, his friends. They all stared at him, judging, whispering. He said yes to an alien? One voice murmured. He's a fool, another said. He embarrassed us. He doesn't belong here. Kalen clenched his fists. So this was his fear, not monsters, not danger, but rejection. Disappointment. The feeling of being a burden. Jaira's voice came gently. Walk forward. Show that you can face these shadows. Kalen took a step. The whispers grew louder. Another step. His stomach twisted painfully. A third step. His legs trembled. Jaira walked beside him like a steady light. They are not real. You fear their judgment, but judgment is only sound. Your truth is in your actions. Kalen took another step, and this time, the whispering faded. He kept walking until he reached the center of the platform. His chest felt lighter. The shadows disappeared like dust blown away by wind. The platform glowed bright. You have passed the first task, Jaira said softly. Kalen let out a long breath. 1 down, 2 to go. The world dissolved again. Task 2, Empathy Beyond Words. This time, Kalen found himself in a quiet chamber filled with floating lights. Each light pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. The elders' voices echoed faintly around him. Every Adulthfystory must feel the emotions of another. But humans cannot sense emotion the same way. Your task is simple. Understand a heart without hearing or speaking. Jaira stepped forward and placed her crystal palm over his hand. Kalen felt nothing at first. Then, a flood of warmth, a tremble of fear, a glow of hope, a quiet longing, a fragile uncertainty. His eyes widened. Is this you? Jaira nodded slowly. The trial allows you to feel a piece of my heart. But only a piece. You must understand what it asks for. More feelings rushed in. A memory of trust. A soft admiration. A sense of finding light in another person. A question gentle, patient. Is your heart walking beside mine? Kalen felt his throat tighten. He had known Jaira cared about him. He had known she valued their bond. But feeling it, actually feeling it was different. It felt pure, strong, honest. He placed his other hand over hers. "Jaira," he whispered, "I understand." Her glow brightened gently. The lights in the chamber pulsed, and the elders' voices echoed. "You have passed the second task," Kalen breathed shakily. The emotional wave faded, leaving him calmer and strangely grateful. 2 tasks done. Only one remained. Task 3, Unity in Action. The third vision formed around them, a large chamber shaped like a maze. Crystal walls towered in every direction. "The final task," Jaira explained, "is unity. You must work with me to reach the center." Callan nodded. "Okay. How bad can this be?" A loud rumbling shook the chamber. "So, pretty bad," he muttered. They moved together through the maze. Jaira guided him with calm instinct, and he used his mechanical knowledge to solve puzzle-like barriers along the path. Some walls shifted. Some collapsed and rebuilt themselves. Sometimes the floor lifted or dropped. Jaira was graceful and focused. Callan was clumsy but determined. At one point, a platform collapsed beneath them. Jaira grabbed his arm and pulled him back up, with surprising strength. "Are you injured?" she asked, worried. "No," Callan said, brushing crystal dust off his clothes. "Just mildly terrified." Again, she offered a faint smile. "We are almost there." But before they reached the final area, the maze shook violently. A shadowy shape burst from the ground. Callan jumped back. "Is that part of the trial?" Jaira's expression sharpened. "No." The creature lurched toward them, an energy disruptor drone. But not an Aelthari one. An unfamiliar symbol flashed on its hull. Sabotage. Someone wanted Callan to fail. Jaira stepped in front of him defensively. "Stay behind me." But Callan wasn't about to let her face it alone. He grabbed a broken crystal rod from the ground and stood beside her. "Jaira," he said firmly, "we do this together." Her glow brightened into a strong light. The drone attacked with pulsing beams. Callan ducked behind a wall fragment while Jaira deflected a blast with her staff. He spotted a weakness in the drone's stabilizer, an exposed circuit panel. "Jaira, push it back this way," he shouted. She leapt forward, striking the drone with a clean arc of her staff. The machine staggered, spinning toward Callan. He slammed the rod into the open stabilizer. A burst of light, and the drone shattered into harmless fragments. Jaira stared at him with surprise and admiration. "You saw its weakness." "Engineer instincts," Callan said breathlessly. "Also panic. Mostly panic." The maze walls glowed, signaling completion. The elders appeared once more. "You have passed the final task," they said. "Your unity is proven." The world faded one last time. Callan and Jaira stood again in the ship's central chamber. The elders bowed deeply. "Your truth may now be spoken," the first elder said. Callan looked at Jaira. She looked back with calm, glowing eyes. No pressure. No force. Only trust. "Your next words," Jaira whispered gently, "will shape both our futures." He nodded slowly, heart pounding. Tomorrow, he would speak his answer. The truth, whatever it was. The next morning felt heavier than the last 3 days combined. Callan walked slowly toward the main council hall of Horizon's Reach, feeling as if the air itself resisted each step. The trial of intent was finished. The elders had accepted his performance. The Aelthari clan now waited for one thing: his answer. Not a joke, not a mistake, not an accident overheard in a dining hall, a truth spoken freely. He wished he could hide inside the mechanical bay and repair broken machines for the rest of his life. But he couldn't. His actions had already started something. Jaira's future was tied to his choice whether he accepted her or not. When he reached the council doors, he stopped for a moment and touched the cool metal surface. He took a deep breath. This was it. He stepped inside. The council hall was crowded. Humans, aliens, diplomats, ambassadors, so many eyes. Some curious, some excited, some fearful, some hopeful. At the front stood Captain Lorne, looking calm but serious. Beside her stood Minister Velron, shimmering with authority. And in the center of the room, wearing ceremonial armor that glowed softly like morning light, Jaira waited. Her eyes met Kalen's the moment he entered. They held no pressure, no demand, only trust. He walked forward until he stood beside her, facing the council. Captain Lorne spoke first. Kalen Ward. The Aelthari elders have confirmed you completed the trial of intent. Now you must declare your truth. Your answer will determine the outcome of this cultural event and future relations between your species. Kalen nodded. His voice felt trapped in his throat. I understand. Minister Velron stepped forward. Then speak. Before all witnesses, all eyes fell on him. Kalen turned to Jaira. She stood perfectly still, but he could feel a fragile hope radiating from her, soft as light in early dawn. Jaira, he said quietly, before I give my answer, I want to say something. The council allowed it. Jaira listened. Kalen took a slow breath. When I first came to this station, I was lonely. Not in a sad way. Just empty. I fixed machines. I did my job. I existed. And then I met you. Jaira's glow brightened a little. You were calm, honest, strong, and patient in ways I didn't understand. You became my friend before I even realized it. Over time, you became the person I trusted most here. A soft ripple of emotion passed through the room. But when I joked about saying yes to a proposal, I didn't know how much those words meant to you. I didn't know what I was stepping into. I scared myself. I thought I had messed everything up. Jaira stepped closer, just slightly. Kalen continued. The trial showed me something. Not about your people, not about your culture, but about you. He paused, heart pounding hard enough that he almost heard it. Jaira. I felt what was in your heart. 9. Jaira lowered her head, glowing softly with warmth. And I want you to know, Kalen whispered, that your feelings, they mean something to me. More than I expected. More than I ever admitted to myself. The entire hall went silent. Kalen stood straighter and spoke clearly, finally ready to give his truth. My answer is yes. A wave of quiet shock spread across the room. Jaira lifted her head quickly, her eyes shining like polished stars. She didn't speak, not yet. She simply stared at Kalen, shimmering with emotion. The Aelthari elders stepped forward with reverence. Kalen Ward, said the first elder, your acceptance forms a recognized bond between you and Jaira of Clan Levanth. The second elder raised a ceremonial crystal ring-shaped ornament, glowing brightly. This bond represents unity between species. The third elder lowered her head. And may it bring peace, trust, and new understanding. Captain Lorne smiled softly, one of the rare smiles Kalen had ever seen on her. For the record, she said, this is a historic event. Ambassadors murmured excitedly. Some clapped, some simply observed with awe. A few species performed their own cultural gestures of respect, but Kalen didn't hear any of them. He was too focused on Jaira. She stepped closer until they stood only a breath apart. Kalen Ward, she said quietly, your answer brings light to my heart. He laughed nervously. I'm glad. I was terrified you'd tell me I failed. She shook her head. You did not fail. You grew. He blinked. What? The trial did not test what you already had. It tested what you could become. Jaira gently raised her hand and touched her crystal palm to his chest right over his pounding heart. You faced fear with courage, she said. You faced emotion with honesty. You faced danger with unity. And now, you face your future with truth. Kalen swallowed. I never thought someone like you would ever choose someone like me. I did not choose you by mistake, Jaira said. I chose you because your spirit shines brighter than you think. Kalen's face warmed. Jaira, what happens next? Her glow softened and warmed, almost like a smile in light form. Next, she said, we begin the bond ceremony. Kalen blinked rapidly. Right now? Jaira shook her head gently. No. A bond is not rushed. It is walked slowly, step by step, like trust, like friendship, like hope. Kalen exhaled in relief. Good. I might faint if we did it right here. Jaira let out a soft, chime-like laugh. Minister Velran stepped forward again. Jaira, Callan, prepare yourselves. The clan ceremonial ship awaits. The bond may be formalized when you both feel ready. Callan nodded. We'll need some time to talk. Time is granted, the elder said. And with that, the meeting ended. As the hall emptied, Callan and Jaira walked side by side toward the observation deck. The stars outside glowed in wide, peaceful stretches. For a long moment, they simply stood in silence. Then Jaira spoke, her voice gentle as a calm breeze. Callan, was your answer truly your heart? He turned to her. Yes, it was. She glowed softly. Then I am honored. Callan smiled. Honestly, I'm honored too. They stood together by the window, watching the stars form shining rivers of light across space. Their reflections merged on the glass, human and Adulthfystory, side by side. A soft peace settled around them. After a moment, Callan said, So, does this mean we're together? Jaira tilted her head thoughtfully. Together is a simple word. We are now bound in intention. If you wish for togetherness, then yes, we will walk the same path. Callan laughed quietly. I wish for that. Jaira gently rested her forehead against his, a sign of deep trust in Adulthfystory culture. The contact was soft, warm, and peaceful. You bring light to my life, Callan Ward, she whispered. He closed his eyes and whispered back, and you bring purpose to mine. Across the station, rumors spread. Across the galaxy, messages flew rapidly between species. Some were shocked, some excited, some cautious. But all agreed, a human and an Adulthfystory had chosen each other. A new alliance had begun, not through force, not through politics, but through honesty, courage, and a strange, unexpected joke that changed everything. Humanity would never look the same in the eyes of the galaxy, because now they knew, when humans say yes, they mean it.